The ancient stone walls of the secluded monastery shimmer in the early light of dawn. In the stillness of the morning, Arjun, a young monk with sorrow hidden behind his gentle eyes, walks slowly along the cobblestone path. He clutches an old, rusted key, its metal cold and weighted by memories of regret and pain. The key is not merely an object, it is the symbol of the burdens he has carried silently over the years. As he walks, the key seems to whisper echoes of his past, a reminder of losses, of harsh words unspoken, and of chances never taken. Inside a small, sparse cell within the monastery, Arjun sits alone on a wooden bench. The silence of the room is profound, yet his mind is anything but quiet. Shadows dance on the walls as his thoughts drift to painful memories of failures, lost, love, and regrets that weigh on him like an unseen chain. The rusted key lies on the table beside him, a constant reminder of a past that refuses to let go. His inner voice is filled with self-doubt, and every creak of the ancient wood intensifies his inner turmoil. Later that morning, Arjun finds himself in the monastery's sunlit courtyard. Here, Manoj, an old and revered monk whose eyes carry the wisdom of countless years, notices the heaviness in Arjun's demeanor. Manoj, with his slow, deliberate steps and an ever-present gentle smile, approaches the young monk. Without a word, the old monk extends a comforting hand and sits beside him. The courtyard, surrounded by meticulously tended gardens and ancient pines, hums with quiet energy, a silent promise of renewal and understanding. In a soft, calm tone, Manoj speaks to Arjun about the nature of burdens and the power of release. He points to an ornate, weathered garden gate at the far end of the courtyard, a gate that has remained locked for years, its intricate carvings hinting at stories of transformation and renewal. Manoj explains that this gate symbolizes the passage between a past laden with sorrow and a future filled with possibility. He instructs Arjun to use the heavy, rusted key to unlock the gate at sunset, to experience firsthand that the weight he carries can be lifted when it is no longer needed. Manoj's words resonate deeply within Arjun, stirring a cautious hope in his heart. The key, which had always represented his unyielding attachment to regret, might finally serve a new purpose, a passageway to freedom. As the day progresses, Arjun contemplates the task before him. He walks through the monastery's winding stone pathways lined with cherry blossom trees. The soft petals falling around him mirror the fleeting nature of time and memory. With the rusted key gripped tightly in his hand, he embarks on a silent pilgrimage through the monastery grounds, a journey that is both physical and spiritual. Every step is an act of deliberate mindfulness, a small challenge against the heavy gravity of his inner pain. Along the way, he passes by tranquil ponds and blooming gardens, each element of nature subtly urging him to let go of what no longer serves him. The key, though still heavy, begins to feel less like a burden and more like a reminder that every path taken in life, no matter how painful, can lead to transformation. The sun begins its slow descent, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. Arjun reaches the ancient garden that lies behind the locked gate. The garden is a realm of beauty and quiet introspection, a place where nature's rhythms echo the cycles of human life. In this sacred space, he finds himself surrounded by fragrant blossoms, gentle streams, and the whispering winds that carry timeless wisdom. Here, Arjun takes a moment to sit on a stone bench near a small fountain. He watches as the water flows steadily, carving new paths through the rocks. The water, clear and unburdened, seems to laugh softly at the obstacles in its way. In that moment, Arjun begins to understand that, like the water, he too can reshape his course, softening the edges of his sorrow until it is no longer a barrier to his peace. At last, the golden hour arrives. Arjun stands before the ancient garden gate, the rusted key held firmly in his grasp. With trembling fingers, he approaches the lock. Yet as he attempts to turn the key, it resists an echo of the resistance within his own heart. Frustration wells up inside him, and memories of past failures surge forth. He feels the burden of the key's weight more acutely than ever, as if it were a physical manifestation of every regret he had ever harbored. Overwhelmed by emotion, Arjun sinks to the ground at the gate's base. In that vulnerable moment, he is caught between the desire to break free and the fear of letting go. The setting sun casts long shadows across the garden, and the silence deepens, allowing his inner turmoil to surface unabated. Sensing Arjun's inner struggle, Manoj reappears quietly beside him. With compassionate eyes and a soothing tone, he sits next to the young monk. Manoj begins to share a parable, a story of a river that once carried fallen leaves, each one representing a sorrow. The river, after a long and arduous journey, learned that clinging to every fallen leaf made its waters murky and heavy. Only by letting the leaves float away did the river find clarity and grace. Manoj's words wrap around Arjun like a soft blanket, and slowly, the young monk's grip on the key loosens. The old monk explains that the weight of the key is not inherent in the metal itself, but in the meaning that Arjun has assigned to it. It is his own attachment to his past that gives it power. In that gentle moment of shared silence and understanding, Arjun begins to realize that he holds the power to transform his suffering. As the evening deepens into a tranquil twilight, Arjun's eyes well with quiet tears. In the silence of that reflective hour, the heavy key begins to lose its oppressive weight. He understands that his memories and regrets are like the fallen leaves in the parable, beautiful yet transient, meant to be observed and then let go. The burden he had carried for so long was never the key itself, but the story he had woven around it. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, Arjun's posture changes. He lifts the key with a newfound tenderness, as if he were handling a delicate relic rather than an anchor to his past. In this transformative moment, he recognizes that he is not defined by his pain, but rather by the freedom he can choose. The key, once a symbol of endless sorrow, now represents the threshold of new beginnings. With a deep, steadying breath, Arjun rises to his feet. He moves back toward the garden gate with a calm determination. The air is crisp, carrying the faint fragrance of night-blooming flowers. In a symbolic act of release, he places the rusted key into a small crevice along the side of the gate, an act that symbolizes his readiness to let go of the past and embrace the possibility of renewal. As the key slips into its new resting place, the gate creaks open slowly. The opening is not forced. Rather, it seems to welcome him with a gentle invitation into the unknown. Stepping through the threshold, Arjun feels an immense lightness, a liberation that comes from releasing the weight that had long chained him to old sorrows. The garden beyond is bathed in soft, healing light, and every step forward is imbued with a promise of peace and rebirth. The monastery stands in serene silence as night falls, a testament to the enduring power of transformation. In the cool, quiet hours, the narrator reflects on Arjun's journey, how the weight of memories and regret can feel insurmountable until we learn that the burden is not fixed in the object we carry, but in our unwillingness to let it go. True peace, it is revealed, comes from releasing those thoughts and emotions that no longer serve our growth. Manoj's gentle guidance had illuminated a path that was always available, one of acceptance and mindful presence. Arjun's act of leaving the key behind was not a denial of his past, but a powerful affirmation that he could choose to live in the present. As the soft night embraces the monastery, the garden becomes a living metaphor for the heart. Open, expansive, and capable of renewal when we let go of what weighs us down. The journey of healing is not marked by a single act, but by many small, courageous moments of release. And in that moment of quiet understanding, the world whispers its timeless truth, that every heart, no matter how heavy, has the power to let go and rediscover its own luminous peace. In the days that followed, Arjun found himself transformed not through the erasure of memory, but through the acceptance that each memory had its place in the mosaic of his life. He learned that pain is not a chain, but a teacher, guiding him toward compassion and self-forgiveness. Each sunrise brought with it a gentle reminder that the present moment is all we truly possess. The rusted key, now an artifact embedded in the gate, served as a quiet symbol of the past that had been released. It was a reminder that while our experiences shape us, they need not confine us. In the soft murmur of the wind through the ancient pines, the monastery and its gardens whispered the same message: that inner peace is found not in holding on, but in the gentle art of letting go. And so, under the watchful eyes of the stars and the serene guidance of wisdom passed down through ages, Arjun embarked on a new chapter of his life, one where every step was lighter, every breath deeper, and every moment filled with the luminous promise of freedom. In the calm cadence of life at the monastery, the story of Arjun and Manoj reminds us that the burdens we carry are often not as heavy as our minds believe them to be. Peace is not a destination, but a continuous journey, one that begins with the willingness to release the old, to accept the impermanence of pain, and to step boldly into the light of each new day. In letting go, we create space for a future filled with gentle wisdom, boundless compassion, and a heart finally free to be whole.